Thank you for joining me today. So, today's talk is going to be about happiness. And, it's a beautiful subject in itself. Just the word happiness, right? So from what I've learned, there's two different types of happiness, right? There's a happiness which I've learned through my school in the Pali word is called pamoja. And it's kind of that conditional happiness where we're only happy like that worldly happiness. So it's like external things that are happening outside of us make us feel happy. And that could be getting a nice compliment from someone, watching a good movie. I love to bring surf in the picture because I love to surf. So it's like getting a nice fun wave, those moments that make us happy, that we're almost like, oh, I just want another one. I want another good wave. And then when another good wave doesn't come, I'm like sad. Well, okay. But again, that conditional happiness, it's fleeting. It's like it comes and it goes. And what can happen is we can keep grasping onto it, right? And I find myself, and I think a lot of us, have, I myself have found so many times where I'm not feeling happy on the inside, and so I'm grasping towards something on the outside to make me feel better. And so how many times have you done that? Look forward to a vacation, and it's like every day is miserable until that day of the vacation's here, or the day you're going to buy a new car, so it's like buying that new car or buying that new dress brings you happiness. And I am definitely one of those where when I'm sad, if I buy a new instrument, like a new flute or a new dress or, anything, I will do that times to distract what I'm really feeling inside. So how many times do you find yourself doing that? So that would be more conditional happiness, right? Our happiness is determined from external things, okay? Now, the other happiness would be more of a happiness from deep peace. And that one right there has been it really hits home for me in a different way. And I love that because it's more where we feel content. It's more a well-being happiness, a joy. So through what I've learned through my experience of just being able to be with whatever is here, the difficult times, the grief, the pain, the challenges. And when I've learned to be able to really stay grounded in those moments and learn how to allow them to be here, and by allowing them to be here, I create space for them, right? So with time, we cultivate more of this deep peace, this more deep joy. And it doesn't happen overnight. Okay, does not happen overnight. I myself, I think I've probably just recently came into more terms of it, and I can feel it, it's beautiful. But again, it's all of this stuff is a practice, and it takes time to cultivate, right? So speaking of the two happiness, and the unconditional happiness is what this relates to, is called sukha, is the Pali word. So we have pamoja is like conditional happiness, and sukha, which is in the Pali word like unconditional happiness. So you are just at peace. It's a deeper happiness. Let me see if I'm forgetting anything. So I'm checking my notes. Okay, so what blocks happiness? It's a huge thing to talk about, right? It's like, what keeps us from feeling happiness? And one of those blocks is what if? Like the what if? What if this could be better? What if I could be making more money? What if instead of using my room, my apartment as my studio, I had this big fancy YouTube studio? What if our relationships are perfect? Relationships with our partners, our friends, our family, right? So there's that what if something could be better? So it's almost like we're feeling that void of something and that emptiness. So it's like, what if, right? So that's a block. Something's missing, okay? The other thing would be something's wrong. So, and that's our negativity bias. Our negativity bias loves to confirm when things are wrong. Absolutely loves it. And when we are constantly looking for what's wrong, we're not making space for what's right. Right? So for example, what's wrong with my clothes? What's wrong with my dress? What's wrong with my getting older and not being 20 years old anymore? What's wrong with me? I could be better. I could be smarter. Again, I'm not making enough money. These are my examples. These are through my own experiences, right? What's wrong with me is, again, I'm not successful into what society's norm would be for a older woman like myself. So it's like when we're constantly looking for what's wrong with this, what's wrong with this job, what's wrong with my health, I'm wrong, I can't run as fast as I used to, I can't surf as good as I used to, what's wrong with my relationship, what's wrong with our relationships. So just, I'm sure you have many different examples you can bring up for yourself right now too. But those are the two blocks of happiness, okay? The what if something could be better, and something's wrong with what's already here. Okay? We're constantly, many times living in a sense of what's around the corner. Something bad's gonna happen. Right? That negative thinking. What about if we thought about what's around the corner is gonna be something magical, amazing, and just beautiful, and just grand? What happens if we think that way, right? So again, the blocks. Something's missing, something's wrong. Now, when we can name that let's say we recognize that we're in that state, that we're starting to go down that block, that rabbit hole that I love to say, of something's not good enough, something's missing, something's wrong. As soon as you can recognize that you start to go down that train of thought, that's awareness. Okay? Now, when we name these things, we open space. We open space for what's here. Because when we name it, we are not identified with it no longer. Just like I've said in other talks, when we say, I'm sad, that means I'm identified with the sadness. No, it's not I'm sad. Sadness is here. Right? If that something's missing, something wrong is wrong, mind frame comes, it's not that I'm wrong or something's missing in my life. No, I'm having this thought pattern come in again that's telling me, what if I made more money? Then I'd be happier. What if I was prettier, younger? Then I would be happier. So as soon as you start to see that little thought come in of what if, or something's wrong, then as soon as you create awareness to that, that's the moment of transformation. That's the moment you name it, you create space for it, and then you allow it. I always love to say, because it's one of the biggest things, it's been huge in this practice for me, is to allow what's here. Okay, Sarah, you feel that if you were younger, you'd be better in your YouTube videos, for example. And then I'd be like, okay, it's okay, Sarah. I see that you feel you're not young enough to be good on YouTube videos, for example. And it's okay. It's okay you feel that way. But how about, because I shifted, because I named it, I recognized it, I named it. Okay, what if is here, for example. Creating space by allowing it. Now, how can we shift it? Okay. So, for me, in my experience, what really shifts that what's missing, what's wrong for me, and I think it's such a beautiful thing, is gratitude. Gratitude for where you are in this moment. Gratitude for what you have in this moment. Gratitude that I have this beautiful gong behind me and these lights and a beautiful lion over my head. And I have a roof over my head. And I have food in the oven waiting for me. So it's like gratitude. And just when you're outdoors, the moment where you see just a beautiful tree or a sunset or a cute animal, it's just, even saying that right now, it just made my heart flutter. Just those moments that just, and I'm sure you may have heard this word before, but they're glimmers. And it's like sitting in the glimmer for a moment. Just appreciating the tree, the roof over your head, the sunset, feeling the sand or the earth under your feet. Appreciating where you are, what you're doing in the moment. Appreciating the pain, the grief, the difficulty. Because even pain and difficulty and grief, sadness, challenge, stress, there is a silver lining. No, a silver lining. Because even the difficulty that we go through just in life, the suffering, the grieving, if we can feel it and create space for it and hold ourselves as we're going through it, we are also learning to expand and grow from those difficulties. And just having gratitude for the difficult moments in life. It's beautiful. So, to finalize this long talk, I'm going to bring up a reflection. So I invite you to just close your eyes for a moment. And for a moment, maybe even just feel your seat in contact with, your buttocks in contact with the seat or the ground, wherever you are. Just for a moment, let's just ground. And as we're grounded in this moment, I invite you to say these words. May I be happy. May I be happy. May I be happy. Sense into the body when you say those 3 words. Does the body feel good? Does it feel open? Do you notice any limiting belief thoughts that come in, saying, I don't deserve to be happy, or I can't feel it, or happiness isn't here? What do you notice? Just noticing. And this is the practice. Learning to allow and create space for whatever is here. And if you can't feel a sense of happiness in your body, it's okay. It's the intention. So opening your eyes, just remembering, what's that phrase? Where attention goes, energy flows. So if you're constantly having your attention on the what ifs or what's wrong, then where is your energy going to go? But if you can recognize, I don't snap very well, but if you can recognize that moment, oh, I'm going down one of them negative thought patterns. Okay. Not judging it when it's here though, and then shifting that to maybe something that's you're grateful for. The more you can be grateful, the more your energy is going to flow in abundance and gratitude, not in a space of lack. So, one last poem to finalize is, if the only prayer you ever say in your life, and I feel this in my heart, is thank you. It will be enough. But again, remember, This is a practice. It does not happen overnight. Thank you so much for joining.